Please be seated. Members of the class of 2023, family, friends, distinguished guests, Trustee Baker, Trustee Lucas, on behalf of the faculty and staff, welcome to the University of Toledo College of Law commencement ceremony. This is my 8th commencement as Dean of the College of Law. Graduation from law school is a tremendous achievement in any year. For the class of 2023, you have shown tremendous resilience in the face of the greatest public health crisis of our lifetimes. The past few years have been incredibly hard on all of us. I'm grateful to all of you for your perseverance as we face the COVID crisis. During your first year, I spent a lot of time with 50 of you in the auditorium, socially distanced and masked, talking about property law. There were times during that first year that honestly, I didn't want to come in. In hindsight, I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to leave my house and spend some time with other human beings twice a week. I think that having class with you was very important to my mental health. It was also fun to have the surprise of finding out what you actually look like under those masks when I saw you in the parking lot. Commencement is always a celebration of not only the achievements of the graduating class, but also a celebration of the parents, grandparents, spouses, children, siblings, and other family members and friends who have supported our graduates throughout their law school journey. These past few years especially, we have all needed the support of our community. Today is also a celebration for the faculty and staff who have been with the graduates every step of the way. They are very proud of your accomplishments, and we all know the tremendous amount of hard work that went into the degree that you are earning today. We know that the countless hours that you spent reading, writing, studying, and thinking about the law. When you started your first year, we told you that law school would change how you think and, in a sense, change who you are. Now, several years later, I hope that you can appreciate how true that was. You came in as law students, and now you leave as lawyers. Earning a law degree is no easy task. To have done it under especially challenging circumstances is an even greater accomplishment than usual. Congratulations. I've been incredibly happy and proud to be part of this great law school. One of the privileges of being dean is having the opportunity to give some advice to the graduating class. Many of the points I will make, unsurprisingly, echo ones that I made when we first met at orientation. I encourage you to be ambitious. Ambitious is a great thing. Set your sights high and work hard. Having a law degree will open many doors for you. Take advantage of the opportunities as they present themselves. But also define your own success. Be ambitious in achieving goals that you set for yourself, not goals that others may expect of you. At the end of the day, after all, this is your career, not somebody else's. And always look after your well-being and the well-being of those closest to you. My wish for you is that you have a successful career full of professional achievements that you can be proud of and also lead happy and fulfilling lives. I also wish for you that you look back on the COVID pandemic later in life and can say that is the single most challenging thing that you lived through. As a professional, always act with integrity and look after your professional reputation. We talked about this at orientation. It's worth revisiting now. I cannot emphasize enough how much reputation will matter for your career. I practice law in New York City, one of the largest legal communities in the world. Even in New York, people's reputations, good or bad, spread widely and quickly. In a smaller legal community, reputation is even more important. Here in Toledo, many people talk about the Toledo way of practicing law. One of the core tenets of the Toledo way is that you can be a vigorous advocate for your client without being unpleasant about it. Your adversary in one case may very well be someone who refers a client to you down the road. So, treat your adversaries with respect. More broadly, treat everyone with respect. And always try to be your best self. If you do, you will have a happier and more successful career. Being a lawyer gives you great power. It is a privilege to be a lawyer, and that great privilege brings with it an obligation to serve the public and the profession. There are many ways to serve the public, but please work hard to find the time to provide legal services to those that cannot otherwise afford them. Law touches everything in our society, and you can have a tremendous impact on the lives of your client. You have worked incredibly hard to earn your Juris Doctor degree, but remember that you are not done. I hate to raise it on a day focused on achievement and celebration, but you need to keep your focus on the bar exam. To be honest, our graduate bar success has not been what it should be for the past year or two. One thing we've noticed is that many of our graduates have not been completing their bar courses. People who do complete their courses have an incredibly high success rate. You really need to put in the effort for this final task that is standing between you and your license to practice law. It will be a challenge, but I can assure you that we will continue to be there to help you every step of the way. We will stay in touch throughout this summer, and we will connect each of you with a faculty mentor who will help support you as you prepare for the bar exam. Keep working hard, and I'm confident that you will all do well. For those of you in the audience who have supported these graduates throughout their years of law school, know that these graduates are not done yet. They will be very busy this summer, and they will continue to need your support as they prepare for the bar exam and clear the last hurdle on their path to being licensed attorneys. That said, let's not lose sight of why we are here. Congratulations. Through a lot of hard work, you've earned a professional doctorate. That's a big deal and something that very few people in our society achieve. You should be very proud. Now, to bring you official words of welcome from the student body, it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Sarah Knepp, immediate past president of the Student Bar Association. Ms. Knepp.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome our family, friends, faculty, staff, and most importantly, the class of 2023. It's surreal to be standing here today. When I started writing this speech, I was at a loss for what I would talk about. As I sat in my state of contemplation, staring at a blank Word document and looking for inspiration online, I stumbled upon a quote from Woodrow Wilson that said, "Be brief, be brilliant, be gone." And I thought that that was compelling advice to keep in mind as I wrote this. So while I can't promise that anything I say will be brilliant, and although anyone who knows me knows that brevity is not exactly my strong suit, I do promise that I will in fact be brief, and then I'll be gone so we can move on to the most important part of this ceremony. Be brief, be brilliant, be gone. As I kept thinking about those three sentences, I couldn't help but realize how they almost perfectly summarize the law school experience. Brief. We are here today celebrating the end of a 3 or 4 year journey. 3 to 4 years of hard work, belly-aching laughs, sleepless nights, successes, failures, and a roller coaster of emotions. It seems like just yesterday we were sitting, socially distanced of course, at our orientation. Throughout our time, we often thought this day would never come, and yet, now that it's here, it's hard to believe it's over. The law school years seem like a long time when you're confronting it on the front end, but it's just a flicker of a lifetime. The days are long, but the weeks, months, and years are so short. Brilliant. None of us are the same people we were at the beginning of this journey. To start, we each have 2 more letters at the end of our names, but more importantly, we have grown. We're more educated, we think more critically, and we are trained advocates. We've made friendships and professional connections that will last a lifetime. We've challenged each other. We've celebrated each other's victories and mourned each other's losses. Our personal and professional growth has made us better, stronger people. And not only have we shaped and changed each other, but we've shaped this institution as well. We started law school in a time of unparalleled circumstances. We were navigating an already difficult experience with little to no interaction with upperclassmen or even each other. And yet, we made it work. We have looked adversity in the face and succeeded despite it. Our class formed organizations, revived organizations, mentored students, advocated for our peers, and ensured the College of Law remained a place we were proud to call our alma mater. Indeed, we are more brilliant for having attended this institution. And now, as this chapter of our lives ends, we must be gone. It's time for us to move on, celebrate this tremendous accomplishment, and take the world head on in whatever new endeavor awaits us. The rest of our lives begin now, and a future of limitless possibilities awaits us. Some endeavors will be brief and others will be more permanent, but I hope wherever you go, you look back on this experience with fond memories. And I hope you remember to leave a little bit of your brilliance wherever your life may take you, and that you leave the people and places you go better than they were when you found them. To the class of 2023, we did it. Congratulations. Now, I know I promised I'd be brief and leave the stage, but I do have one last order of business before I go sit down. Each year, the graduating class votes on an outstanding professor, and the winner is announced at commencement. And the class of 2023 has voted, and I'm pleased to announce that this year's recipient of the Outstanding Professor Award is Professor Brian Lamon. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Is he here? Is he here? Oh, okay. So I just did it.
Thank you, Sarah. To give the faculty welcome, it's my pleasure to introduce Distinguished University Professor Eric Chafee. Professor Chafee will be leaving the College of Law this year. He's a graduate of the Ohio State University and received his JD from the University of Pennsylvania. He joined our faculty in 2013. During his time here, he has been awarded many, many teaching awards selected by our students and has held numerous advising, committee, and administrative roles within the university and the College of Law. Professor Chafee.
Okay, so there's a question of what exactly is. Yeah. I didn't say let's get started, which my students know that that's how I begin literally every class. But there's a question what exactly a faculty welcome ought to be. And frankly, when Ben actually asked me to do this, my initial impulse was just to walk up slowly and say hi and then sit down and be famous for literally giving the shortest commencement speech ever. I opted not for that because all of you deserve what is a great commencement because all of you certainly have earned that. So, there's a question of how to summarize the time that you've spent at the college. And in terms of that, and keeping with the theme that Sarah started with quotes, there are a couple of quotations that have meant a lot in my life. The first of which is from T.S. Eliot and his masterpiece, Four Quartets, and specifically the poem Little Gidding. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. And I like that quote because I think it's a nice thought about what education ought to be. You are all different people than you started as when you entered into the college, and it's been a pleasure to see that transformation. It also makes note of the fact that we shall not cease from that, meaning that ultimately, in terms of thinking about this chapter of your life, it may be coming to a close, but at the same time, bright things are ahead of all of you. The other quotation is from Plato's Apology, and specifically Socrates when he was on trial for corrupting the youth, which unfortunately ended with him actually being forced to eat hemlock for using the Socratic method. We're not going to talk about that part. Ultimately, one of the things he said was the unexamined life is not worth living. And I think that that dovetails nicely with the T.S. Eliot quote, this idea that ultimately exploring life is worth it. It makes for a more fulfilled existence. The other thing that I think is a more subtle meaning of that quotation is that ultimately it makes sense to live with intentionality. Decide who you want to be, the values you have, the things you want to achieve. If you want to get to some place, you have to figure out what that place is first. So 3 other things that I want to say. First off, congratulations. All of you deserve to savor today. Lawyers often have trouble living in the present in the sense that they're always thinking about the past or the future. But today is a day to be enjoyed and a day that you really ought to appreciate for all that you've accomplished. Second, thank you. Ultimately, I've had the opportunity over the past 10 years to live in a magical place and to work in a magical place. In terms of thinking about that, I don't mean Hogwarts, although they used to play Quidditch on that field next to the law school. What I mean is that ultimately there's nothing more magical and wonderful than a law school classroom. I've literally never had a bad day teaching. I've literally never had a bad day talking with students and helping you move forward in your lives. So thank you so much for that and making me a part of that. The final thing I'll say is you will be missed. One of the absolute wonderful things about a law school is that it changes. You never get bored because every class is different, every student is different, and if you're not sure if I mean you, I do, and yes, I'm sure about that. So, welcome, enjoy your day, and God bless. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Professor Chafee. It's now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Zaina Hatem, this year's valedictorian. Congratulations to you on this spectacular achievement.
Class of 2023. I almost messed that up already. Congratulations. I know I am one of the few things standing here between you and your moment walking across this stage, so I'm going to try to keep this to what I would say is the opposite of law school, short and sweet. I am truly humbled to be standing here among the brilliant, talented, exceptional graduates in this room. I stand here before you today as someone this plaque would say was academically successful. But this plaque tells only part of my story. Prior to law school, I struggled to do well academically. So to me, this achievement means something different. It means I was successful in following in my dad's footsteps. He was valedictorian of his medical school in Syria in 1972. I wanted this for him. I didn't let my past or who I was yesterday or what people thought I was capable of define what I tried to achieve. Why I share this with you all today is to make the point that success means something different to everyone. Maybe it means making partner in a law firm, reshaping the justice system, or growing your family. It's up to you to define. Where you came from, who you were yesterday, or someone else's opinion of you can't stop you from going after what you want. We are all here today because we wanted to graduate from law school. You are here because you worked for it. I would be remiss to act like we didn't have support along the way, so on behalf of all the graduates, I would like to thank those around us. To the faculty and staff and administration, thank you for teaching us how to think critically and question the answers in front of us. It took 3 years for me to realize the only right answer is that it depends. We will miss you dearly, but rest assured, you will miss us even more. To the donors, thank you for giving so many students here the opportunity to attend law school. As many of you know, these 3 years are hard. Your generosity gave some students one less thing to worry about. That is a gift that is truly priceless. To our family, friends, and loved ones, where do I begin? You were understanding when we missed holidays, pretended to be interested when we didn't stop talking about torts, and we were excited for us every step of the way. Thank you for being there for all the highs just as much as the lows. More importantly, thank you for believing in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. If I could take one more moment to just thank some of my family personally, specifically my parents. You instilled in me how important it is for a woman to get an education. I know that's not a lesson you were raised with. My fiance, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you pushing me to go after what I want. You are not only the love of my life, but my greatest motivation. My uncle, who can't be here physically, but I know he's watching from above. He showed me how to keep going even when I didn't want to. Finally, my law school friends. In the midst of everything that you were going through, you managed to find some of the time to be the most genuine friends I have ever had. Graduates, class of 2023, this is a momentous achievement. I'm honored to have shared these last 3 years with such an outstanding group of individuals. Every single one of us made sacrifices to get here. It wasn't easy, but we did it, and we did it together. During the process, we didn't just become Juris Doctors. We became passionate individuals, willing to understand each other's differences while learning to understand ourselves. If I could leave you with anything, I want to leave you with this. However you decide to define success, pursue it with boldness. Be eager, be resilient. Be a better version of yourself today than the person you were yesterday. There isn't a single limitation in this world that can stop us from doing our best other than ourselves. Nelson Mandela once famously said, "Education is the single most powerful weapon you can use to change the world." Class of 2023, the world is ready for us. And when you walk out those doors, tell the world you're armed. Thank you. I wish you all the best on the bar. And again, congratulations.
Let's see, where is our other? Congratulations. Thank you, Zaina. Congratulations again. It is now my pleasure to welcome today's featured speaker, Candace Klein. Candace is a partner at Saul Ewing LLP. She focuses on bankruptcy and restructuring situations in commercial litigation. Her practice includes loan and deal work, including M&A, workouts, and loan administration. She represents debtors, creditors, fiduciaries, and public interest stakeholders. Candace serves in leadership roles at various bar and trade associations and on boards and advisory boards for nonprofit organizations. She's a former officer and director of the TMA's Chicago Midwest chapter and an ex officio co-chair of the Pro Bono Committee. She's also a board member and vice chair of the Bankruptcy Section Executive Council for the Commercial Law League of America. Candace has an MBA and began her legal career after many years in global commercial banking and business, including startups. She practices in Illinois and Ohio with a nationwide docket in complex commercial matters. Please join me in welcoming Candace Klein.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dean Barrows, for inviting me to speak to the class of 2023. I am honored and grateful. Congratulations, graduates, parents, and all the neglected spouses, partners, and pets, and everyone who has supported these graduates. This is a major life milestone, up there with birth and marriage. Your law degree will feature in your obituary. I've read them all. It will. You've done well, more than you realize. Feel proud of this community. I returned home to go to Toledo Law. I hope you see Toledo Law as your home too. We are building a legacy by giving back. I am doing so now. You will do so tomorrow. This honor prompted me to read commencement speeches written by David Sedaris, Toledo native Gloria Steinem, Martin Luther King Jr., and others. What did I learn? No one listens to or remembers the speaker. Worries and wanderings will distract you all afternoon. Our minds constantly distract us. Empires thrive by distracting us. Thinking about glancing at your phone, are you? Fight the urge. We are together but this once. And know that I distilled for you 3 incredible insights worthy of this ceremony while drinking coffee in my pajamas. So number 1, show up. Mother Teresa said, just show up and things will happen. Woody Allen observed 80% of success is showing up. Showing up is hard. It requires vulnerability, wrestling with something called imposter syndrome, and confronting fear. Life under a rock seems infinitely easier. Get out there. The journey, your journey, will not always be easy, but it will be entertaining. We live and work in our minds. Now that's a daunting idea. The squishy matter between our ears, this origin of unrelenting doubt, also sparks wit, genius, and hope. Now imagine a door before you. It is a glorious door. It is a Scrooge-worthy door. Showing up means facing the door. Success is grabbing the handle and crossing the threshold. Showing up, you did it every day in law school. You opened the door and kept going. Do not stop. True, a fire-breathing dragon may lurk behind the door. So what? It happens. Life generally and in the law is harder than anyone ever told you it would be. Yes, they, and I mean them all, parents included, hid the ball. Many of you, like me, are first-generation graduates. You may bemoan that you don't have a playbook and life is unfair. Well, guess what? There's no playbook. Life and your career are about showing up, making mistakes, and learning along the way. You will write your own playbook. Sometimes you are rewarded when you open the door. Sometimes you must open another door, repeatedly. And that is just fine. You'll be fine. We speak of resilience and grit, but also of mental health, wellness, and civility. Law is intensely human. It is demanding. Opening and shutting doors is demanding. You will laugh and cry. You may cry harder than you remember, but that's only because you don't remember your 3-year-old self. There was a time when a popsicle hitting the floor was devastating. You will see difficulties. You will experience drama. You will feel joy. Law presents great theater. Show up and enjoy the show. I almost didn't make my graduation. I was exhausted and a little detached. You may know the feeling. The deans called, and despite my decision to stay home, I showed up with borrowed regalia. I remember the day. Delaware District Court Judge Joseph Farnan was our alumni speaker. Years earlier, he sponsored my first public service externship in the federal courts, influencing my career. I received an award. Showing up made me better then and now. Show up. Number 2, protect the rule of law. Law students and lawyers endlessly and patiently endure this William Shakespeare quote. The first thing we do is, let's kill all the lawyers. Dick the Butcher offers this advice in Henry VI, Part 2. To Shakespeare's credit, he launched centuries of lawyer jokes. The context is serious, though. Dick the Butcher is engaged in a populist revolt stoked by the king's rival. His cause seeks riot and lawlessness. Further on, a messenger reports to the king about the rebellion, relaying, all scholars, lawyers, courtiers, gentlemen, they call false caterpillars and intend their death. Ominous, right? Oh, it is bad. The reference to false caterpillars means treacherous extortionists, those who prey on society. The king, after hearing the messenger's report, laments, "O graceless men, they know not what they do." O graceless men, they know not what they do. 400 years later, lawyers, judges, and the rule of law are under threat. People have declining trust in lawyers, the law, and our courts. Is Dick the Butcher right? Are lawyers and judges undermining public confidence? Do they work against the needs of the commons? As law graduates, you will participate meaningfully in this debate. Years ago, a colleague asked, "What makes America different?" My answer was the rule of law. American exceptionalism, from civil liberties to capital markets, relies on the rule of law. Stability, peace, and our vast economy are possible through law. Personal expression is possible through law. Oppression and regression are also possible through law. Toledo law graduates are well prepared for these challenges. Studying law makes us better citizens and better thinkers, debaters, and leaders. We use our minds to achieve results. Absorb this. We use our minds to achieve results. As lawyers, we see clarity through muddle and safety in danger. We manage risk. We learnedly advise no, yes, but, and infamously, it depends. We make change, and nodding to John Lewis, we make good trouble. Optimism infuses our work, but also darkness. You'll need optimism when confronting darkness. Harness optimism, and you and your legal career will be well served. Change happens through optimism. The privilege of legal education compels us to serve our society well by protecting the rule of law. We make change, good trouble, for our clients and our communities. Our charge is always to do excellent work and to endure. Which brings me to my third and last point. You will show up and protect the rule of law. Well, you ask, how? Number 3, take care of yourself. If you remember anything, remember this. Get sleep, be kind, love, and be loved, because relationships matter. The first week of May is Lawyer Wellbeing Week. Have you heard of it? Digest this. You are entering a profession with a well-being week. Not a well-being hour, not a well-being day, but a well-being week. All right, let's talk. The artist Banksy said, "If you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit." Your number one job every day is to avoid burnout. Your work and presence are gifts that you only share with us if you are present. You stay present when you learn to rest. Learning to rest is hard with 24/7 cell phones, unforgiving and often arbitrary deadlines, and for those of you entering private practice, billable hours. You will need both mind and body to move mountains. Yes, that is what we do professionally. We remove obstacles, scale walls, and move mountains. This is daring and privileged work. If you sense themes of strength and moxie, you are right. Colleagues and clients want your strength, your dependability, and your humor. We are trusted advisors in the most difficult circumstances. We are confidants, strategists, and champions. We are also whole people with complex lives. Everyone is complex and needy. Humanity is needy. Organizations are needy. You'll suffer neediness, real and imagined. Beware of promises of work-life balance. Work is life, and life is work. It's messy. Work is sometimes fun, and life is sometimes not. Life is sometimes remarkable, and work is tedious. Perfection in achieving balance, a life neatly ordered, peaceful, and predictable, while enjoying perfect health and your high school weight, is a holy grail. You'll stress yourself out searching for work-life balance perfection, so don't. Life and work are messy, I mean messy, and that is okay. You will find your way. Remember, there's always tomorrow. But please don't attempt this important work alone. You will need strong relationships, at least one close, believe in you regardless relationship. They will hold you up when you feel down. They will love you, flaws and all. Be kind and generous. Trust. You must trust in yourself foremost, trust in your colleagues, trust in the rule of law, trust in the process. If your trust becomes abused or broken, and it may be, pivot, but don't quit. If you live with character, kindness, and generosity, and allow yourself to trust, you will do great and be great. Thank you for sticking with me. You may now glance at your phones. Years of endeavor are behind this valuable professional honor. We are all proud of you. For those of you taking the bar exam, please, please, please study and pass. Anxiety around this one exam is real and best experienced once. Show up, protect the rule of law, and take care of yourself. That's it. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Candace. That was wonderful. Before we present hoods, confer degrees, and award diplomas to the graduating class, I would like to introduce the members of the Board of Trustees who are with us today. Alfred A. Baker was appointed to the University of Toledo Board of Trustees by Governor John Kasich in July 2016. In March 2006, Trustee Baker retired from Owens, Illinois, where he served as Vice President of Human Resources since 1992. Trustee Baker is a UToledo graduate who's a member of the 1969 to 1971 undefeated football teams with a record of 35-0. He was elected to the UT Hall of Fame in 1998. He received the University of Toledo Outstanding Community Service Award in 2011. We also have Trustee Will Lucas with us today. Will Lucas was appointed to the University of Toledo Board of Trustees by Governor John Kasich in February 2016. Mr. Lucas is a founder and CEO at Creatio, a marketing and technology firm servicing nationally recognized brands since 2007, and is founder and curator at TEDx Toledo. Trustee Lucas is a UToledo graduate who's widely recognized as a leading technology entrepreneur. We are delighted to have Trustee Baker and Trustee Lucas today. Can we give them a hand for joining us? We will now present hoods, confer degrees, and award diplomas to the graduating class. I ask Associate Dean Rebecca Zitlow to present the class and Trustee Lucas to confer the degrees. Associate Dean Zitlow.
Will candidates for the Juris Doctor and Master of Studies in Law please stand? Trustee Lucas? As Associate Dean of the University of Toledo College of Law, it is a privilege to present the candidates for the degrees of Juris Doctor and Master of Studies in Law.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Law in the University of Toledo, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Toledo, I now confer upon all the qualified candidates, including those in absentia, the degrees for which they have met all the requirements with all their rights, privileges, and prerogatives appertaining thereto.
Before the graduates come forward to give their name cards to Associate Dean Zitlow and receive their hood from me, a couple of things to mention. You guys can sit down. First, during your hooding, you will be photographed by the university photographer. Please proceed to pick up your diploma case from Trustee Lucas, and another photographer will take your picture in front of the College of Law backdrop. These photos will be made available to the graduates online. Secondly, I ask you to hold your applause, but spontaneous outbursts of joy are perfectly acceptable. Graduates should now come forward individually to receive their hood from me. Professor Cavalieri and Professor Tomlinson will assist you.
Zaina Hatem, summa cum laude. Sarah Knepp, magna cum laude. Rawan Abdallah, magna cum laude. Congratulations. Bilal Ahmed. Yeah. Slow? Sorry. I'm just so excited about all this. Ahmed Atari. Shannon Bauer. Aya Badoun. Jocelyn Bobus. Caitlin Bohr. Congratulations. Emma Callahan, cum laude. Taylor Carroll. Bobby Dean Curry, cum laude. Dustin Davidson. Jenna DeLauber, magna cum laude. Jessica Denzik, summa cum laude. Garner Dusa, magna cum laude. Sarah Elosir. Aaron L. English, Joint JD-MA in Criminal Justice. Nicholas Enziger, cum laude. John Francis Fleming. Robin Francion, cum laude. Amelia Garman. J. Connor Gavin. Thank you. Jordan Ellis Charles Jesquire, magna cum laude. Gabrielle Gorowski. Gabrielle Gorowski. Claire Griffin, magna cum laude. Jacob Geiger, cum laude. Gabrielle Guliana, magna cum laude. Mark Hannes, cum laude. L. Wesley Henkel, cum laude. Matthew R. Henkler. Kenneth Hurley, cum laude. David Kaiser, Joint JD MBA. Hussein Ali Kazwini, cum laude. Paul Kendrick. Tivadar Kish, cum laude. London Klukas, cum laude. Chloe A. Lawrence. Joshua D. Lindsay. Julian Lizio, cum laude. Abigail Luring. Hope Luther, summa cum laude. Lauren Mangold, magna cum laude. Rebecca Marcus Nichols, magna cum laude. Alana Machenko. Sean McManus, cum laude. Jordan McQuarrie, cum laude. Noreen Marown. Elizabeth A. Murphy. Joshua Nachman, magna cum laude. Patrick Asher Naranjo. Thank you. Sarah Nash, magna cum laude. Claire Ostrowski Hochradel, cum laude. Brianna Palmer. Amy Parker. Okay. Geeta Patel. Peruse. Megan Peruski. Courtney Platt, cum laude. Jacob Porcerelli. Zuhair Kamar. Elizabeth Quinn, cum laude. Stephanie Reed. Emma Rainius. John Robinson, magna cum laude. William McGregor Robinson. Thomas Rockhill, magna cum laude. Sarah Ross, magna cum laude. Jacob Edward Sadalek. Elora Scamardo. Cameron Sherrock, cum laude. Austin Sitterlet. Mitchell Slavin, magna cum laude. Sarah Smeedy, cum laude. Chase Frost Solis, summa cum laude. You're trusting me. Yeah. Maria Spasovska, magna cum laude. Natalie Marie Sullivan, magna cum laude. Samantha Taranjo, cum laude. Michaela Elizabeth Vella. Allison Waite, magna cum laude. Sean Wilhite, cum laude. Sarah Young, cum laude. Janet Zarecki. Ashley Zawak, magna cum laude.
Congratulations to the class of 2023. Please join me in welcoming our new Juris Doctor and Master's of Study of Law degree recipients. At this time, I would like to invite Patty Kurt, President of the University of Toledo Law Alumni Affiliate, to step to the lectern to welcome our new alumni. Ms. Kurt is a 1982 graduate of the College of Law and leads the family law section of the law firm Spangler Nathanson. She is certified in family relations law by the Ohio State Bar Association and serves as a mediator and guardian ad litem. Ms. Kurt?
First, congratulations. This is such an exciting day. I'm proud of all of you. I did the same thing 40 years ago. Woo is right. Yeah, thank you. I'm here today as the president of the University of Toledo Law Alumni Association. Hi, Marty. On behalf of the University of Toledo's College of Law Alumni Affiliate, I'm pleased to welcome all of you graduates to your Alumni Association. So unbeknownst to you, not only are you a graduate, but you are also an alum today and a member of the affiliate. In recognition of your accomplishments and the greatness yet to come, I promise you there will be, it's our pleasure to present a special gift available to you in the lobby of the College of Law following this ceremony. Alumni of the law school have purchased diploma frames so that each of you may proudly display your degree from our College of Law. The University of Toledo Alumni Association also presents each graduate with, get this is a good deal, a 5-year complimentary membership to the University of Toledo Law Alumni Association. Each of you graduating this year follow in the footsteps of almost 9,000 alumni of the College of Law and are now part of a network of over 169,000 UT graduates worldwide. Today is a day you will never forget. On behalf of all of our alumni, thank you for making a difference and representing the University College of Law with distinction. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. At this time, I would like to present a faculty award. The winner of this year's Eisler Award for first-year teaching, as selected by the first-year class, is Professor Jeffrey Rapp. Congratulations, Professor Rapp.
So it's my 19th graduation. I've been around long enough that I remember Beth Eisler, who this award is named after. Graduates, you didn't get the chance to learn from her, but you got the chance to learn from some wonderful teachers who were hired and mentored by scholars and teachers like Beth Eisler, who've been on the faculty for many years before. And I hope you've learned from them not just how to analyze a legal problem or whether to apply the rule of perpetuities to a particular gift or something like that, Professor Cavallari. I'm not sure what we'd say. But also how to speak truth to power, how to challenge when challenge is necessary, and how to defend your clients with every fiber of your being and every element of strength that you have. Congratulations on your successes, and best of luck. We can't wait to see the wonderful things ahead of you.
Thank you, Professor Rapp. It's now my pleasure to give this year's Dean's Award. This year's recipient is an absolutely outstanding student. Our recipient is also an outstanding person who seems to participate in everything going on at the College of Law. The positive energy that our recipient brings to the College of Law is truly amazing. Congratulations to this year's Dean's Award winner, Hussein Kazwini. Hussein, come on up, buddy. Those of our graduates who served or are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces are wearing military service cords. Could those of you who have served, are currently serving, or who have already committed to serve after graduation, please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your service. We're almost done. I'd like the graduates to stand one more time. You guys stand up. First, we have a wonderful group of teachers here at the College of Law. I'd like you to recognize the faculty who guided you through your 3 or 4 years at the College of Law. And second, I'd like you to turn around and give a round of applause to the people who supported and encouraged you throughout the law school. Go ahead. You may be seated. To you, the members of the class of 2023, we salute your achievements, join in your enthusiasm for the future, and wish you the greatest success and professional fulfillment. I hope you are as proud to be graduates of the College of Law as we are of you. I hope, too, that you will remain connected with the school as we build for the future and work together to keep the College of Law a place of which we can all be proud. This completes our ceremony. The platform party, faculty, and graduate recessional will proceed back out. Graduates, please wait until your row is released. Juris Doctor students should then return your regalia and pick up your diploma frame from the Law Alumni Affiliate in room 1002 at the College of Law. We will also have a reception beginning pretty shortly over at the Law Center. Thank you for joining us on this important day.